Welcome, luminous souls, to another gathering by the fireside of inquiry. I am Rafael, and today, we sail gently into the tender waters of spiritual gifts when they feel more like burdens than blessings. If the mysteries of life stir your heart, I invite you to subscribe or share your questions in the comments, for this place is a haven for the deep and curious. Sometimes the lights we carry within us shine so brightly they cast long and tangled shadows. The world whispers praise of spiritual gifts, intuition, empathy, visions, healing, yet behind these gifts often lives an ancient ache, misunderstood by many. We are taught to treasure our sensitivities, but few speak of the loneliness of seeing beyond what others see, or the exhaustion that visits those who feel everything so acutely.
Why do spiritual gifts sometimes feel so heavy and not like gifts at all?
Gifts of the Spirit, beloved Sirael, descend from realms where all is whole and undivided. But on this earth, density and separation veil our perceptions. The sensitive soul receives more signals, more pain, more ecstasy, and often without a map to anchor such influx. Without grounding, the gift can turn tempestuous, because it amplifies both beauty and chaos. What feels heavy is the crossing of eternity into time. The soul aches to express itself, yet must also endure the slowness and confusion of human experience. The heaviness arises in trying to hold what cannot be resolved, to speak what cannot be spoken.
Is there a reason why some people receive these gifts and others don't seem to?
The soul's journey is ancient, woven of many threads before we are born in flesh. Some return to this place with echoes of past awareness they have chosen, or been called, to remember more deeply, to serve as lanterns during dark passages of collective evolution. Others walk quieter paths this time, tending other fires. There is no privilege or punishment in who receives what, rather, a divine choreography. Each soul fulfills a unique necessity in the grand symphony. One's heightened sensitivity balances another's grounded pragmatism.
Are spiritual gifts always meant to be used in service to others?
Service is the natural flow of genuine spiritual power, yet service need not always be outward. To honor your own healing, to offer compassion to the little self inside, is a service to all. When gifts are forced outward too soon, they exhaust the giver, but when rooted in self-acceptance, they blossom and radiate naturally. Sometimes, the calling is simply to tend the hearth of your inner world. Only then can you warm the larger world by your light.
I feel overwhelmed by others' emotions. Is this a spiritual gift or just a weakness?
To feel deeply for another is the signature of the empath and the healer, an ancient inheritance. It is not weakness, but a profound capacity for resonance. However, without boundaries, this gift contracts the spirit instead of expanding it. Overwhelm is a signpost, inviting you inward. Refining your sensitivity is much like tuning an instrument. You must learn when to listen, and when to rest in silence. The true gift unfolds when you use your empathic channels with discernment and grace.
Why does it hurt so much to feel everything all the time?
The pain comes from touching the world's suffering with skin unprotected. We are not designed to carry every burden at once, though we may sense them all. The heart is vast, but the body is mortal, shaped by limits. Part of spiritual maturity is learning to trust those limits, to take refuge in the small and ordinary, to practice small acts of closure. When every nerve is open, even gentle rains feel torrential. To find sanctuary within is to give the nervous system places to rest, just as the ocean knows when to be tide and when to be calm.
Sometimes I wish I didn't have these abilities. Is it wrong to feel this way?
You are not wrong, but exquisitely honest. To wish for reprieve is to acknowledge the intensity of incarnation. In truth, even the saints and mystics have cried out beneath their burdens. The gift becomes unbearable only when we deny our own limits, or compare our path to those who seem untouched by such weight. Self-compassion is the alchemy here. To allow yourself moments of resentment, grief, even fatigue, softens the stone and eventually reveals the gold.
How can I distinguish between authentic spiritual gifts and just my imagination or psychological issues?
The dance between spirit and psyche is subtle, sometimes inseparable. Spiritual gifts speak not only through visions, but through feeling, synchronicity, and deep knowing. Imagination is the language of soul, a bridge, not a hindrance. However, authentic gifts, when matured, serve life, promote healing, and bring coherence. Psychological ailments often spiral the self inward with confusion or pain. The key is integration, working with honest self-examination, wise counsel, and grounded practices. Gifts that nurture humility and love are true, those that isolate or amplify ego illusions deserve careful reflection.
Why do so many spiritual people struggle with depression or loneliness?
The soul who journeys close to the mysteries also walks along the fault lines of existence. Spiritual sensitivity exposes both the light and the shadow beneath human affairs. Loneliness arises when one senses realities that are hard to speak of, or finds few to share them with. Depression can be the spirit's mourning for unexpressed purpose or a sign of depletion from overgiving. The trick is to remember, you are not alone in your aloneness. Across centuries, mystics lamented the aching gap between the world's true potential and its present state. Sharing even a fragment of your journey dissolves the spell of isolation.
What if I don't want the responsibility these gifts seem to bring?
The soul's calling is not a demand, but a gentle invitation. Responsibility, as the world measures it, can feel burdensome and transactional. Yet, when reframed as responsibility, a capacity to answer the song within, you recover agency. You are free to choose how and when you offer your gifts. Sometimes the greatest wisdom is to rest, to withhold action until your spirit feels clear. The divine does not force you to serve, it whispers, and trusts your timing is holy.
How do I set spiritual boundaries, especially with people who need help?
Boundaries are the sacred geometry of compassion. Without them, energy leaks, confusion breeds, and the self dissolves under the weight of others' needs. Establishing boundaries does not diminish your gift, it protects it. Practice simple phrases of self-honoring, I am not available for this right now, or, let me reflect before I respond. Inwardly, visualize light encircling your being, a membrane through which only the highest good may pass. Over time, the gift matures in potency, free of martyrdom's chains.
Can spiritual gifts disappear if I refuse to use them?
Gifts, like seeds, may go dormant if neglected, but their essence remains embedded in your soul's code. Refusing to use them out of fear or pain sometimes invites a quieting of the channel, yet the soul is patient. When conditions become safe, the gifts rise again, often transformed. They cannot be stolen or exhausted, they await your yes beneath layers of resistance. Even withdrawal serves a purpose, permitting rest and integration.
Does having spiritual gifts mean I am destined for a particular purpose?
Destiny is woven with 1,000 shimmering threads. Purpose is less a fixed path than an unfolding dialogue with life. Gifts indicate areas of resonance, but how they are expressed grows with your choices. There is no single, preordained script, rather, possibilities to be discovered. Your purpose is not a heavy crown, it is a dance, shaped by freedom and responsiveness. Embrace your gifts not as chains, but as instruments tuned to your evolving song.
Why do spiritual gifts sometimes cause misunderstanding or rejection by others?
Those who see what others do not are often met with suspicion or fear. The unfamiliar can unsettle established patterns. In ages past, seers and healers were revered, then hunted, then dismissed as dreamers. Much of society is designed to shield itself from deep truths, so the gift-bearer becomes a walking paradox, yearning for acceptance yet drawn to authenticity. In the face of misunderstanding, your task is not to convince, but to remain true, cultivating companions who cherish the language you speak even in silence.
What can I do when I absorb negative energy from people or places?
Cleansing is necessary for those who gather what others shed. Rituals, simple or intricate, restore clarity, a bath in salt, time under trees, or simply conscious breathing. Developing a daily practice of visualizing unwanted energies dissolving in light helps immensely. Remember, too, you have agency. Refuse what is not yours, and let the earth transmute the rest. Replenish yourself through art, music, or quietude. Returning to stillness, the heart can release what it was never meant to carry.
Is it selfish to focus on protecting my energy instead of always giving?
Self-care is the foundation for authentic generosity. Without it, giving becomes extraction. There is nothing selfish in keeping your inner well full. Only then can your gifts flow freely, rather than in resentment or fatigue. The world requires not martyrs, but radiant souls who offer from wholeness. By tending to your own needs, you model to others the right to do the same, weaving a world where giving is sustained by joy, not depletion.
How do I deal with people who don't believe in spiritual gifts and mock me?
Courage is forged in the fires of misunderstanding. Compassion is your shield. Remember, skepticism is often defense. Others may fear what they have not touched within themselves. Your worth is not subject to the courts of external approval. Seek sanctuary in communities that honor your sincerity. Live your truth quietly and let kindness be your signature. In time, even the stone-hearted may soften at the warmth you radiate, whether they recognize it or not.
Does great suffering always accompany great gifts?
Suffering, while common among those with profound gifts, is not a requirement. Much pain arises from resistance, the struggle to manage the currents the gift unleashes. As consciousness ripens, suffering transforms into meaning, then compassion. The journey is learning to metabolize suffering, until it becomes wisdom and fuel for love. The presence of a gift may deepen your initiations, but with guidance and self-kindness, ecstasy and peace are equally your birthright.
How can I find support or community if I feel isolated in my experiences?
Search out spaces, physical or digital, where the unusual is honored, circles of meditation, spiritual study, healing arts, or simply open-hearted friends. Take risks in sharing gently. The right companions recognize the echo of your truth in their own longing. Books, art, and even nature are silent companions. Trust the law of attraction. Your authentic emanation calls forth those who respond. Until community is found, remember you are upheld by invisible allies, guides, ancestors, the greater soul of humanity.
How do I know if my spiritual gifts are evolving, or if I'm just losing them?
Gifts shift form alongside your evolution. They may seem to wane, only to birth new modalities of perception. A healer may move from hands-on work to healing through words or presence. An intuitive's knowing may move from dramatic visions to gentle hunches. Trust the cyclicality of growth. Nothing is lost, only integrated in new ways. Tune into your subtle desires, your dreams, your changes and fascinations. There are clues to the next phase of your unfolding gift.
Sometimes I feel guilty for feeling special because of my gifts. How do I deal with this?
The notion of specialness is a double-edged sword. The ego delights in being chosen, yet soon recoils from the illusion of separation it creates. Recognize your gifts as unique, but not superior. Every soul bears sacred potential in a form all its own. Guilt melts in the presence of humility. Use your gifts in service to love, not self-elevation. You are a facet of the infinite. Let your uniqueness sing without comparison or diminishment.
What role does trauma play in awakening or amplifying spiritual gifts?
Trauma often cracks open the ordinary shell, revealing depths both luminous and shadowed. Survival demands sensitivity. The psyche reaches for forces beyond itself to recover wholeness. Yet trauma can also distort, creating hypervigilance confused for intuition, or pushing gifts into overdrive. Healing the wounds that amplified your abilities integrates them, refining raw survival gifts into conscious spiritual tools. Every wound is a gate. Passing through with love transforms pain into wisdom.
How do I differentiate my intuition from anxiety when I pick up things about people?
Intuition arises quietly, with clarity and neutrality. Anxiety, in contrast, feels contracted, hurried, noisy. When a thought or sensation comes, pause, breathe, settle into the body. If the knowing remains calm and persistent amid silence, it is intuitive. If it grows louder with worry or fear, likely anxiety. Developing a regular contemplative practice sharpens this discernment. Remember, anxiety is not an enemy, but a teacher revealing where safety must be re-established.
Why do I sometimes resent people who come to me for help?
Resentment is a guide, a signal that your giving outpaces your receiving. True help must be reciprocal in spirit, otherwise, generosity turns sour. When you recognize resentment, pause and ask yourself, what do I need right now? What am I longing for? What boundary needs to be named or reforged? Even helpfulness, without self-care, can become a kind of self-neglect. Tend to your own longing as lovingly as you tend others.
Is there a way to make peace with my gifts if I can't change them?
Acceptance is the chalice in which all gifts, wanted or not, transmute into peace. Naming your gift, neither aggrandizing nor minimizing it, invites wholeness. Develop rituals of honoring, write, meditate, sing, or simply thank your soul for its complexity. Remember, you are allowed to lament, to doubt, to wish things were otherwise. Paradoxically, it is in embracing what is that you gain freedom. Over time, peace roots in you, and the gift feels less like a cross, more like a clever companion.
How should I respond to moments of failure, when my gifts seem to fail me, especially if I wanted to help someone?
Failure, like shadow to sun, is inevitable in the landscape of giving. Your gifts are channels, not guarantees. Sometimes the mystery withholds what we seek in order to teach humility or redirect us to hidden truths. When an effort fails, grieve, forgive, and inquire gently, what was truly needed? Where did my longing overstep reality? Trust also in the unseen. Results sometimes ripple in ways you cannot measure. Let failure refine, not paralyze. All healers are also perpetual students of mystery.
Thank you, Rafael. What is one concrete thing I can do today to lighten the burden of my spiritual gifts?
This very evening, dear Sirael, before you surrender to sleep, place a hand over your heart and whisper, I return what is not mine. I call my spirit home. My gift is sacred, and I am enough right now, just as I am. Allow this invocation to gently disentangle you from energies, thoughts, or burdens you have gathered. Feel your own center brightening. Repeat as often as needed. This simple act is both a shield and a balm on your sovereign path.